Hi friends! Well, I'm sorry I can't be there with you today, but I am so excited to see how you guys are going to finish your self-portraits. So remember last week we drew our portraits with pencil, and this week we're going to actually outline them with Sharpie and then watercolor them. And I'm going to show you a few techniques and how to mix watercolor on your palette. So let's get started. Okay friends, we drew our portrait last week. Now you'll notice mine is missing a mouth. I showed you one where the mouth was straight across and you weren't smiling. But I decided that I want to make a smiling mouth. So I was going to show you how to do that too in case you wanted to do it also. So for a smiling mouth, it's going to be a little bit of a shallow smile. And since you've drawn with pencil, you can erase and do another smile if you want. And a little bit of a deeper smile. Now, when I have my mouth open and I'm smiling and you see teeth, you can look at a friend or count, just kind of touch your teeth with your tongue and see how many teeth are really showing. Usually you're just showing about 6 teeth in your mouth. And since your mouth is kind of curved, you're not going to see, they're going to get smaller towards the back. So I'm going to show about 6 teeth, 2 larger ones, and then they get a little bit smaller as they go around. And when I'm smiling, I don't really even see my bottom teeth. And since my mouth is in shadow, I'm going to go ahead. You're not going to color this in, I just realized, because you're going to be doing watercolor. And then we're going to drop the top of the lip. Kind of has this V, and then it goes out to the sides of the mouth like that. And like that too. All right, now we're ready to watercolor, almost. Okay, when we watercolor, we have got our watercolor set and we're gonna get a test strip. Now, because we're going to be watercolor painting our face, and we're gonna be mixing this color, I wanna test it out before I actually paint my face. Now, did you know that this pan, the cover for the watercolor is actually where you can mix colors? If yours is a little bit dirty, then what you can do is you can kind of like clean it up with your brush. So you might get it wet and just clean up a few of the wells, and then you can take your towel, because you know you always need a towel, especially when you watercolor paint, and you can just kind of wipe it up. So you'll take a minute to kind of clean up your palette and get it ready. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be mixing my face color. So I'm going to take lots of drips of water because my face is not going to be too dark. I can always add more color, but I can't take it away. So I'm going to make a formula. I'm going to add a little bit of brown. So I'm going to wake up the brown with a little bit of water, and I'm going to touch it in the water. Then, oh, look how dirty my yellow is. If I want to clean it up, I'm just going to kind of clean up the top of it, and then I can always just dab it with a paper towel, and it looks a lot better. Okay, so I took a little bit of brown. I'm going to take and add a little bit of water so that I've got the juice to paint with. A little bit of yellow to my face. And then maybe a tiny bit of orange, like that, okay? Then I'm gonna test it here. Let's see. It's gonna be pretty light. I don't want it, it's not gonna be opaque, it's gonna be see-through, not like my hand. My hand is not see-through. And I think I decided that I need a little bit more of a tan because it has been summer. And I think that looks pretty good. So once I'm happy with it, see, I added a lot of water so that I've got lots of extra paint. I'm going to paint over my face. Now, remember, I said that I can always add more. So if it looks too light, I can always do another layer of darker. Be very careful. And when I paint my neck is my face color. Oh, wait, don't let me forget my ears. when I paint my neck is my face color, but just a tiny bit darker. So I'm gonna add a little bit of brown. Oh, that was a lot of brown. But yes, I think it's gonna be okay. And I'm going to just paint my neck a little bit darker because it's in shadow. And if it touches and it blends, that's not a big deal. Okay, so this is very wet. So I'm gonna work somewhere else on my painting that is not near my face. So the next thing that is not so near my face is my shirt. So I'm going to add a lot of color, a lot of water to the colors that I want to use. So I'm going to use some blues and some greens, maybe a tiny bit of purple. Because remember, if one color is fantastic, two colors is even better. Remember, when I watercolor, I'm going to paint with the juice. So I woke up my watercolor so that I can now paint with the juice. Oh yes, I'm loving this color, and I even take a little bit of purple and a little bit of blue at the same time. And I'm gonna paint my shirt. If my paintbrush starts to get dry, but I've still got a lot of color on here, I'll just get a little bit of more water. Now, when we watercolor, if we don't want our colors to touch and to mix, we got to be very careful painting next to them. Okay. All right, I've given my face a little bit of time to dry, but it's just not quite dry yet. So I'm gonna have to be very careful when I paint the next part. I'm gonna paint my hair. So I'm gonna add lots of water, and I think I'm gonna mix the color because my hair is not straight yellow. And so I'm gonna add a little bit of brown to it. Okay, I don't want the same color as my hair, as my skin, but it is a lot of the same colors. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to paint my hair, and then I can always go back and add like a little bit more of a color. So like I said, when I get close to my hair, my face, I'm going to try to even leave just a little bit of a white line so that I don't touch it. Like that. Again, when I get close. Luckily, my eyebrow is right next to my hair, so I'm just going to pick it up and take the very tip of my brush if I can and get that eyebrow because I don't want white eyebrows. And then I'm just going to keep painting that color. All right. Now, if I want to add a little bit more brown in sections, I'm going to add a lot of water to this. But I can go back in and I can add a little bit of brown. It's going to be a little bit darker in the behind my neck on my hair. If I have long hair, it's going to be a little bit darker at my roots, like that. All right. Okay, what have I missed? I need to paint the inside of my eyes and my lips. Okay, so my lips are not going to be red, right? They're going to be my skin color, but maybe with a little bit of pink. So I'm going to wake up my red, and I'm going to add it to my skin color. Now I want to do this after I know that I'm pretty much done with my skin color. And again, with my little tip of my brush, I'm going to get the lips like that. Remember, my face is still very wet, so I don't want to get too close to the wet face or I'm going to have pink face. That's okay. Sometimes you might want a little bit of pink on your cheeks. But I'm just going to take like that pink lip color and have a little bit of pink. Okay? Then my eyes. Now my eyes are a little bit of green, a little bit of brown. But you know what? I have some brown up here. So what if I add a little bit of green to it? Let's see what happens. Try that again. That could be fun. Okay, So with the tip of my brush, I am going to just lightly get that inside of my eye. So we've done face first, then shirt, hair, lips, and then the inside of my eye. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with my self-portrait, except I have the background. Now when I paint a big area, well, I like to do something called wet on wet, and we have talked about this before. So over at the messy table, we're gonna have some liquid watercolor set up and some clean wet water. Now, there's gonna be a big brush with the clean water, and you're gonna paint on just wet water. Again, be very careful. Look, I touched my hair a little bit, and so it's kind of starting to bleed a little bit. So be very careful when you don't get too close to your head and your hair, or it's all going to start smearing. You guys are in 3rd grade now, and I know you can do it. Okay? And then I'm gonna take my brush, I've kind of got my medium brush, and I'm going to paint with the liquid watercolor over at the messy table. Oh, look what it does. Look how gorgeous that looks. Okay, now, again, our rule is if one color is fantastic, oh my gosh, how does it even get better than that? Then 2 colors could be even more so fantastic. So I want to challenge you to try to use more than one color. So I'm gonna mix in this turquoise. All these colors can be mixed together that you're gonna have at the messy table. And look how beautiful they look. And they're gonna kind of meld together because we've already added that water. And you see I'm trying to kind of leave it lighter around my face so that my face gets to be the center of attention, and then a little bit darker in the background. Okay, so it adds a little bit of interest. Now, of course, our favorite thing to add to watercolor is salt. Now I've got salt shakers. They come out really fast, so all you're gonna wanna do is just lightly sprinkle around your self-portrait. Because remember, if you add too much, you're not gonna see the effect at all. Okay, and then when you're done, you're gonna hold it very flat and take it to the drying rack and let it dry over there. And this will be your square one art. All right, y'all, I miss you, and you guys have fun. Bye.